Okay. So you were talking about being known, and being authentic is really important to me. It's not important to Brandon. And so a lot of times these episodes will drop like 3 or 4 weeks in advance or after we record. So Brandon will do this thing where he tries to act like we're in late September. How are the Grizz football team doing? I'm like, I'm not going to talk about the Grizz football team because it's not happening. It hasn't happened. And so Brandon and I hate each other. Welcome back to the Missoula Podcast.
Episode 61. Steven, how was your Thanksgiving? Why do you hate that?
All right.
Never mind.
Episode 61, Missoula Podcast. Brandon, welcome back to the studio.
Good to be here.
Good to be here, too.
I'm excited. Sam Boyd in studio. Sam, how are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on this. This is exciting.
This is long overdue. We've been trying to hunt you down for a long
7 years. Jeez.
We finally landed you in the middle of baseball. Well, at the end of baseball season, too.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, I want to know where you got your watch. Because your watch, like, that was my dream watch in 3rd grade. Like, is that like the Casio calculator watch?
Yeah.
Is that exactly what that is?
This is the only watch I've ever owned.
It's amazing.
Hold it up for the camera.
Yeah.
Let me.
It's the time's off right now. I never changed the time. I don't know why. I just am lazy, and then I'll just do the math in my head and be like, "Oh, it's actually 12," but it says 11. I don't know why.
It's the greatest watch.
Maybe I just am done with the time change thing, and I just do it in my head. But yeah, this is the only watch I've ever owned. I will tell you off air my secrets of where you can get it.
Thank you.
Because it's way simpler than you think.
You've heard of the Apple Watch, right? At Walmart.
I swear it's at Walmart right now.
Well, you have heard of the Apple Watch. Like, it'll update time for you. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
But this one does math. So
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Question number 2 for you. How does one get his hands on a Sammy B bobblehead?
Oh, I think we only have a few left down in the basement of our downtown office, but I actually think we did a count and there's like probably 30 left.
What's that like, having your own bobblehead?
You know, it's a funny story because that year when we do promotions, we plan it out months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Things don't magically just happen at the baseball stadium. It's months and months of planning. And we were like, okay, well, we're going to do a bobblehead this year. And then our front office was talking and they were like, okay, let's have 3 options and let's just do it as a fan vote. You got to do it early because bobbleheads, they come from China and they take about 6 months to ship. It's a long process. And we were like, okay, well, let's do Paxton, the mascot, as an option. Jason Newman, who was like the home run king up until
first baseman.
Up until recently, he held the Pioneer League home run record. And they were like, and Sammy B. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That'll be weird if it happens. But like, people are definitely going to vote for Paxton or a baseball player that is well known and loved. And then we did like the social media vote and I won. And I was like, this is okay. This is going to be weird. But like, people don't realize how weird it is because my job is to order all the promotions and do it. So then I'm in a month-long conversation with the bobblehead people of designing my own bobblehead. So I am designing myself in bobblehead form, getting emails like, what color are your eyes? And what's the best position for a bobblehead that best represents you? And I'm just like, this is so weird. This is the weirdest thing I could have ever done.
What did you tell him? What is your power position?
It's just me speaking into the mic. It's everyone loves the intro I do, the Missoula, and that's basically what I went with. So
it's amazing. I feel like I'm at the game.
Yeah.
Have you always been this outgoing of a person? Like, well, I guess take me back to your childhood. Did you know you were going to be in front of all these fans with a microphone speaking, getting people jacked up, or did it happen by accident?
It definitely wasn't an accident. I think I was created this way. And I mean, most of growing up is trying to understand who you are. When you're in high school, It's really where it starts to come out. I used to be really shy, middle school, elementary, and I started becoming more known in high school. And I had friends who encouraged me to be myself. And they were like, I remember one of my really good friends, Andrew Dacus, he was like, hey, if people don't like you for who you actually are, then like they don't need to be in your life. So I kind of took that and ran with it and played golf a bunch in high school, and started wearing. I just wore like the John Daly flamboyant pants in all of our golf tournaments, and was like, "Oh, this feels like me." And then junior and senior year, fell in love with running our student section in high school. Planned out videos like the Harlem Shake and Hawaiian Nights, all the things. I ran our audio for our basketball team warm-ups, did the intros, all that stuff. Planned out our caravans in high school football. So like it was a part of who I was. And then I just discovered that I really liked creating things for people. So it really started in high school. And then as we got more into college, it was internships and discovering and asking deep questions. I'm a really curious person. I think it's probably one of my best, like, skill sets is not the right word, but like ways I was created, being just a very curious person. And I think that curiosity and ways that I was uniquely created have led to, I guess, where we are now.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up, so I was born in Savannah, Georgia, and then moved to Memphis, Tennessee when I was 13, 14, I think. And so Memphis is home. And then, so Memphis, Tennessee is home.
Have you always had a fascination with sports? I mean, was that from a young age? Were you?
I wouldn't say young age. I think, like high school, I love sports. You know, growing up in the South, you love college football. Growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, it's a basketball town through and through. High school basketball's huge. College basketball, University of Memphis is huge. And then the Memphis Grizzlies.
Shout out Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, shout out Penny. I think I fell in love with it more as I grew up, but like I played soccer and golf growing up. I wasn't huge into sporting events. We went. My dad loves sports. I think it's in my family, but like it wasn't like a deep curiosity of I want to do this. The revelation of knowing I wanted to do it, what came in the college years when I started to ask those questions.
Where'd you go to college?
That is the fun question. So I'll take you quickly through the timeline. Played golf in high school. Decided I wanted to play in college. Got an opportunity to walk on at Coastal Carolina University for golf. Got there and discovered that's not where I was supposed to be. Left within 3 weeks of that school, dropped out of college, went back to the University of Memphis for a semester. Left University of Memphis, went to the University of Tennessee, stayed there for a decent amount of time, came back to Memphis, did a stint at a community college, and then graduated from the University of Memphis.
Would have been easier to ask what colleges did you not attend.
This is true.
Yeah.
Did you have some commitment issues with college, or?
I think I don't think I was mature enough for the first years of college. Looking back, my mom always was like, "You should take a year to go to community college or take a gap year." Probably should have listened to mom.
Shout out to all moms out there.
Absolutely. So that was like the early stages of the bouncing around.
Our shout out's a thing now. Did we just start something?
Yeah. Later on, it was the bouncing around was just because I knew I wanted to be in sports entertainment, and I followed a path that I thought was best for my career and advancement. So like coming back to Memphis was because I had an opportunity to work with the Memphis Grizzlies, and I was like, this is where I wanted to be. So
sweet. Was that your first job? In sports management?
Yes. So my freshman year, that small stint at University of Memphis, I saw on Twitter, or one of my friends sent me a Twitter message saying that the Grizzlies were hosting a tryout for entertainment team, basically the t-shirt tossers, the break dancers, all that type of stuff. And I tried out. There was like 60 people that tried out, and like 2 people made it. This white kid with a little bit of rhythm, who had no fear, got that job. And my first game with the Memphis Grizzlies, I remember being handed a script, and like seeing everything that went into everything. And this was just the entertainment team, and walk out on the court, and there's all these different puzzle pieces that are coming together. And I just fell in love with it. I remember like actually like going home and crying that night, because I was like, oh, I found something that I was made really well to do. So, and then from there it was internships throughout college, internships in NBA, collegiate sports, minor league hockey in Mississippi. That team does not exist anymore because hockey and Mississippi do not make sense. I even actually did an internship in Spokane with the Indians.
Yeah.
So I kind of went all, like my college was, okay, I know I want to do this, but where do I want to do this? What level? And how can I learn as much as possible? I don't think I paid really any attention in college classes, but I used college as an opportunity to get as many internships as I could.
How'd you end up in Missoula?
Another great story. So after college and all these internships, I knew I wanted to do minor league baseball. Kind of the Indians showed me that love for small market community. And I'd worked for the Grizzlies now for maybe 4 years or so. And this is, I think, 2 years after college, after I graduated. And I realized that when you go bigger in sports, you do less. You wear less hats. You have one job, one thing that you run. And I didn't really want that as my first big career. I wanted to wear a ton of hats and learn as much as I could possibly learn. So I started applying for jobs after moving to Colorado for a year to be a zipline guide. Came back to Memphis and started applying for jobs. And imagine the Sammy B character. I wore the crazy suits well before I lived in Missoula. And I would job interview in the suits. And I would be myself, that character, plus all these different business side of things. And 174 teams said no to me. I have the Excel sheet to this day and tracked every single one. Long story short, I gave up on my dream of working in sports. God told me I needed to give up. I was holding it as the most important thing in my life, and I needed to kind of let go of a little bit of control issue I had in my life. And then randomly, like a month after this, lots of crying, process of letting go of holding that sports is everything in life. I get this random email from a team called the Missoula Osprey saying, hey, we saw, I don't remember, they saw my resume or something like that. And they were like, we have an entertainment specialist position open. Would you be interested in applying for this? And 3 interviews of the best interviews I've ever had in my life later, got a job offer, and then moved here like 2 weeks later after that. Sold my Jeep Wrangler on the drive to Missoula. It was just like a crazy process. But to be honest, like God put me in Missoula for a lot of reasons, and still reasons I'm still discovering today.
Did you wear one of the suits to your interview with the Missoula Osprey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like Zoom interview, I was wearing the suits.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's a great spot for us to dive into our burning questions. First question for you, Sam. What is your first initial memory of Missoula?
My first initial memory is a crazy one because it actually was so I drove to Spokane for that internship from Memphis, Tennessee. And I remember driving on the interstate and looking to the left at this town. And I was like, that town looks cool. Like, this town is like in the middle of the mountains. It's right there. And then I just had to keep going because I was driving to Spokane. But like, that was it.
Favorite coffee shop in Missoula?
I'm Black Coffee.
Favorite restaurant?
M80 chicken. If you want to count if food trucks count,
let's go. No,
I'm
it's
M80.
M80 is phenomenal.
Yeah,
You just got to convince Nick to open up 7 days a week.
They actually, we did. I just got married, and we had them for.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we had them for our rehearsal dinner.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well done.
So
Yeah,
good.
They're great.
So good. What zip code do you live in?
802.
What do you love most about Missoula?
I would just say that it feels like a town that was like perfectly made for me. In that people are curious about others and care deeply for community. And then the access to the outdoors ain't bad either.
What to you is the weirdest part of Missoula?
The weirdest part of Missoula. Man, I don't know. The weirdest part of Missoula. I go to church, and I think it's so weird the fluctuation of population in church during the summer versus the fall. It's hilarious to me.
That's true. All the churches know it too. It's like, it's summertime.
Yeah.
Has there been a book that's made a profound impact on your life more than any of the other ones?
Yeah, I think the book that really changed the direction of my life and really more of like this understanding of identity and falling into the truth of my identity is Finding Your Yellow Tux by Jesse Cole, the owner of the Savannah Bananas. It's a business book, but it's way more than that too.
What was some of the key takeaways from you there? I mean, obviously the Savannah Bananas have this cool, crazy culture and they're a little zany, but why did that liberate you so much or help you with your identity?
Yeah. I think Jesse in there just talks about like finding what made them uniquely them, being the Savannah Bananas, and even just himself. And it was like just wearing the suit. It was this outstanding mentality. My favorite quote in that book is attention beats marketing every single day of the week. And I took that to a business standpoint, and I took that to a relation standpoint, and just more than that, like we're so distracted as a community and just as humanity these days, from phones to busyness, like marketing or whatever it is so just fleeting compared to if I can get your attention. And that can be a lot of different ways. You could take that in a business stance, but you can also take that from a relationship stance. Like getting someone's attention can change someone's life versus just marketing to them.
It's really deep. And Jesse, their journey, that whole story of the Savannah Banana has been pretty fun to watch and really cool. So you land in Missoula, show up for the job, Missoula Osprey. What's day one look like for you?
I don't remember exactly day one, but I can tell you the first week. This was my first season was the first year they got the brand new video board. So the high definition 1080p video board rather than the reader board that they had in the past. And I said, no one here knows how to do this. We just made this very expensive purchase. Here's the manual. Figure it out. So the first
Sounds nothing like sports entertainment.
yeah. So the first month was me learning, training, learning how to create a graphic, learning how to just operate a video board. I could talk about a while about, but like, yeah, it was that. And then what do you want to do here? What does entertainment want to look like? And it was a chaos of a first year.
How many years you were with the Osprey before the transition to Paddleheads?
I was there the last Osprey
just
season.
one season with the Osprey.
Yeah.
And then this new character rolls out by the name of Sammy B. Who is Sammy B and how did he come to be?
Yeah. I think it developed from all the years of internships, all the things that I started to learn about myself, but then really like Jesse's mentality from that book. I realized that, again, I don't mean any offense to the prior, before Sammy B Osprey, there just wasn't enough attention getting as you came to the stadium. And I wanted to create some type of persona and entertainment that you left saying, wow, what just happened? And I decided I was just going to take the suits. I was going to take the outstanding thing and just crank it up to 100 and be that in the ballpark. And it's developed over the years by adding skit characters behind it and just a persona of what it is. But it came out of, we need to get people's attention. We need to start understanding and trying to develop relationships with our community so that their attention is got when they come to a game. It might be hard to get it if they don't come to a game, but we are not gonna not get their attention at a game. So it was, I can put on this weight of being this crazy character that you come to a game and you're not gonna forget it.
Did you have some pushback on that initially? Because that's not necessarily how baseball enthusiasts think about a baseball game going.
Yeah. I think Missoula, like I said, was perfectly laid out for me because they were all in on this idea of big entertainment. That was a part of the hiring process and the job interview. I didn't just let them interview me. I made sure that I interviewed them and like it was a good fit. And I was like, hey, you see these suits? Like I'm going to wear these every single game. And it's for this purpose. So it wasn't as hard as you think. We have a cool organization and it fits well with our city. And I don't think a lot of other places, well, I know a lot of other places said no to me and said no to that type of entertainment.
I want to go back to that Excel spreadsheet. 174 organizations said no to you. It had to sting. But at the same time, tenacity, perseverance, because when 173 said no, you went and looked for 174. What were some of the life lessons you learned during that season of just what probably felt like rejection day after day?
I learned to continue to grow in a process of no's, like a retooling throughout the whole thing. I don't know, these aren't true numbers, but like after 50 no's, it was like, okay, let's retool our resume. Okay, after 100 resume is good, I believe. How do I do the next thing? How do I get more attention? So I started sending, instead of cover letters, I do video letters. So I would attach a video. Mm-hmm. And I learned that like failure is the best teacher. And like, that is for life. And it's not just failure. Oh, we failed, whatever. If you're not learning from failure, like you're missing out on so many opportunities. So I think through that 174, I learned that failure or no, or however you want to say it, like it was teaching me something to retool, get better, and grow.
Some of these characters that you pull out, can we talk about the Richard Simmons one for a minute?
For sure. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
So good.
You just own it. It's so good. I would love to see that character is he out for hire? Can he do like private family events, dinners?
Sure.
Okay. It's amazing. Amazing. How do you feel about the peanut inning?
So it's funny because a lot of people didn't realize the peanut inning was here before me. Like it's been around for a long time. And again, I just retooled it and revamped it. And it was much smaller, of not as probably much screaming or squirrels twerking on the video board. I love it. I mean, today, what are we, 40 games into this season of a 48 game season, or 42, I guess. It still has to be a trigger to get up and go, but it's a lot of fun, and it's one of those things that people won't forget.
How about the Shrek video on the saxophone?
That is probably my most prized possession.
Did you put that together? Is that your?
Yes.
It's incredible.
Oh, no, I didn't make it. So I found it.
Okay.
You should see my YouTube search history at the beginning of a season.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like I could just listen to that all night. Just put it on repeat. It is so good.
It is. If you were to ask me, like, what are you most proud of? Like, and the dumbest answer is definitely Shrexophone.
It's so good. It's so good.
What's one of the skits or characters that has been the biggest flop, or just didn't get like a swing and a miss? If you want to use baseball terms.
3 years ago, I don't remember what the skit character was. I think it was Sammy Tsunami. Again, failure is the best tool to learn from. But I heard Missoulians tell me they hate Californians, so I created a Californian skit character. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all.
Sammy Tsunami.
I tried to learn how to skateboard and I tried a lot of really weird ones.
First pitch, typically 7:05.
Mm-hmm.
What time do you get to the ballpark?
Depends. This year, or the last 2 years, I've learned I've had to change my schedule, being engaged and now, married, that schedule's had to adjust. But in early season, I'm getting there at like 10 a.m.
Long day.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
13, 14-hour days.
Yeah. And then, we just finished a 9-game homestand in 10 days. So it's grueling and exhausting.
Yeah. You, about a year ago, announced your retirement. And this is the current last season of Sammy B, and wrapping up here this fall. What was that like? What led to that decision, and what's next for Sam?
Yeah, I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was during last season, maybe early into last season. I started asking myself questions again of, who I am. I think that is a question that's led me throughout my life. And like, what am I doing? And I had this friction in my heart and soul of Sammy B character, and like, the just not feeling fully known. And I started to ask these questions, and after it was a long process of journaling and talking to people I love and things like that. I kind of got to this realization, and I want Missoula to know, like, it's not against the fans. It's not against anything, but like just me as a person, I realized creating sports memories for people, creating memories at the ballpark was not enough for me. I love that I get to interact with the family. They come to one or two games a season, and like I get to help make a memory for them. I get to create something that is a memory for them. But it just got to where like it wasn't enough, and I feel like I was created for more. About 3-4 years ago, I started volunteering with an organization that I was deeply affected by in high school called Young Life. And I've been a Young Life leader here in Missoula for the last few years. Specifically, I'm at Sentinel High School. So we work with high school kids. I like to say that every high schooler needs a healthy, good adult in their life that's not their parent. It's hard for high schoolers these days. They have questions and things in life that they probably shouldn't go to their peers about. And it's probably really hard to go to your parent about. And we're kind of that in between. You call it mentorship, you could call it relationship. But it's really important. I had a Young Life leader who changed my life forever. So I started doing that like 3-4 years ago. And the more this process and these questions were asked of myself, I just realized that these sports memories weren't the currency I wanted to build in my life anymore. And it was these deeper relationships with high schoolers and like just more with people. I want to be more in people's life, authentically in people's life. And that's kind of when I started to have conversations with the Paddleheads about like, I think I'm coming to an end. I think this is coming to an end. I feel called by God to go into just a deeper way of living with people. And I did that again. This was one of those things that God, like I felt like called me into, of like a step of faith, very similar to like giving up on that dream of working in sports. I kind of had to step into this idea of like, I don't know what's next, but I know that I want to chase after people and live in relationship with people. And like, I want to change people's lives in a relationship way. So I told the Paddleheads, like, this is going to be my last season. And that was like, I don't have a job. I didn't have anything set up. I didn't have any type of next plan. But I had faith. And yeah. And then in the last 3 months, some amazing scenarios have happened where our high school director in Missoula for Young Life moved on to a different place. Had no clue that was even on the table or an option. And then Missoula Young Life reached out to me about stepping in and taking over the high school ministry. Again, just faith that was answered in crazy ways. Again, I have control issues in my life that I want to like plan everything. But I've learned that like, if I let go and have a little faith, like God's plans are pretty much better than mine every single time.
Well, we're going to be severely saddened that we won't have you next year at the ballpark, but excited about your journey and the impact you're still going to be making here in Missoula. As we wrap this up, is there anything we missed? I know you have this persona, Sammy B, and Sam's kind of this also the guy behind the scenes. But is there anything that we missed today in the interview that you just want to encourage people with, or just enlighten our audience as we close down here?
I don't think so. You guys asked such good questions. I think if anything, I just want to take this to say thank you to Missoula for accepting me, and letting me be weird and crazy, but also just authentic. And I just encourage anybody who's like listening to this, if you don't feel like you're being authentic in the ways of your life, if it's at work or in a relationship, like ask yourself why, and ask yourself how you can be more authentic or show up in more authentic ways. I think it will give people a lot of peace in the way that they're supposed to be. I fully believe we're all created in really unique, beautiful ways. So stop trying to fit in to everyone else's way and be authentically you.
Dude, thank you for coming on. And seriously, the memories you've made for my family, you talked about that. Like, we've got memories from the ballpark and games that last. And I totally hear you're saying that almost fleeting or shallow, like there's something more. And the fact that you're pursuing that and going to continue making that investment into people in our community is applaudable, and just proud of you and grateful for the difference you've made right here in Missoula. So thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
You do.
What's up, Missoula? This is Nick Balla, producer of the Missoula Podcast. We truly appreciate you hanging out with us as we dive into the stories that make our city special. If you could do us a quick favor and follow the show wherever you are listening, whether that's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, maybe you're watching on YouTube, so hit that little subscribe button. It really helps us out. Head on over to www.themissoulapodcast.com for more information, and we'll see you next week.